Well, it looks like I forgot something on this last problem. So before we get to the bottom three, let's finish this one. Once I turned the video off, a few minutes later I realized, you know what, I forgot to find the equation of this line right here and this line right here. Okay, let me tell you what's different about this one. This one's not at the origin. So I'm going to cheat. And this is actually not cheating, it's perfectly okay. I hope you remember this formula right here. Excuse me. This is point slope form. Point slope form means that you know the slope and you know a point, also known as x1, y1. Okay? When we think of equations of lines, we normally put them in slope-intercept. I'm going to cheat and put this one in point slope form because in this case I don't know the intercept. It's pretty close to 2, but not exactly 2. So let's do it. I'm trying to figure out right now if that is at 2. No, it's not at 2. No, it's not. Okay. It's just random thought. Okay, pardon me for that. Let's move on. I know my slope is up 4 over 6, and last time I checked, 4 divided by 6 was 2/3. And let's be realistic, it's positive and negative, so I want to make it plus and minus 2/3 x. Y. What in the world are you doing, Mr. Reader? About to fill in the x1 and the y1. We know that this line and that line go through the point -1, 1. So -1, +1. Yes, I did that backwards because of those minuses. Do I have to solve this for y? No. You may leave it in point slope form. That is perfectly okay. Perfectly okay. All right, the next one. Find the standard form of an equation of the hyperbola with those foci and those vertices. Let's do several things in this one. First thing we need to do is kind of sketch it and see what it looks like, and we'll see what direction it's opening, and once we know what direction it's opening, we know which formula to pick. We'll find what C is, which will help us find out what A is or B is or whatever. You'll see. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we go. The foci are at -1, 2. Okay. I've been putting them in red, so let's keep doing that. -1, 2 is one focus. 5, 2 is the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 is the other one. Just lost count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. There it is. Okay, let's pause this thought right here. Those are my foci. Because I know where my foci are, I now know which direction it's opening. I know it's going left and right, which means this. I'm going to go ahead and start writing my final answer over here. It means, whoops, I about put a plus. I need to put a minus there. Well, now it looks like a comma. There we go. Minus squared equals 1. That's not much of a formula, not much of an answer yet, but I know this. It starts with an X and ends with a Y because it's opening left and right. Okay? While we're at it, let's go ahead and do this. I know the center is halfway in between this and this. That makes it right here. You can kind of eyeball it, but you could also do the midpoint formula. If this happens in your head, first of all, you know your midpoint is at something comma 2, so I'm going to go ahead and write this down. The center is at something comma 2 because it lines up this way, but we don't know what that something is unless we average -1 and +5. -1 plus 5 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so the center is at 2, 2. Okay, that makes that easy. We've got that part done, and now we need to know what goes here and here. Let's keep moving. Let's see, the vertices are at 0, 2, and 4, 2. Okay, 0, 2, 4, 2, and I'm going to just sort of draw it, kinda. Well, how do you know where the asymptotes are? And well, this is a rough sketch, okay? It's just a rough sketch. I'm not even going to draw the box, and that's kind of the issue. I don't know how far down to go with it or how far up to go with it because I don't know what that number is. But I tell you what I do know. and I know this pretty clearly. I know what that number is. And that number is the horizontal number. That's the number under x. And that distance right there is 2, which means I'm going to write down some random stuff I know. I know that A is 2, which tells me this. That's 4. That's 2 squared. Okay, well, now again, obvious question. How far down do we go? How far up do we go? I don't know. And you don't know either, but I do know this. That's 3. From there to the focus is 3, or the other side. From the focus to the center there is 3, which tells me that C is 3. I still don't know what B is, but I'm about to find out. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. And so we'll go 4 plus 9 is C squared. That is going to give me 13. So C is the square root of 13. I just did that whole thing wrong. I did that wrong. I hope you caught my mistake. I was acting like I knew what B was, and I did not. Woo! Man, that was a mistake. I actually worked this one out before I made the video, and I thought, man, this isn't sounding familiar. Okay, yeah, C is 3, which makes it 9. A is 2, which makes that 4. Here we go. I'm sorry. Woo! Man, that was terrible. B squared is 5. And for what it matters, B is the square root of 5, but you know what? When I plug it in the formula, and formula, what formula? I'm looking at this right here. I'm going to put a 5. Oh, yeah. Bless me. Here goes. That's what that awkward pause was for. I was working up a good sneeze. Usually they come in pairs. There might be another one here in a second. All right. It's like a hyperbola. There's 2 parts to it. Thanks. I'm here all week. Write the equation in standard form of that. Oh man, Mr. Reader, what in the world is that? And that looks like the ellipse stuff, and it confused me. You got this. Come on. You got this. Same stuff we've been doing. I'm actually going to write the same thing here, only I'm going to move that 104 to the other side. So 4x squared. My 8x is with it. And I'm going to put minus 25y squared. And that does not have a y with it. It doesn't have an x, doesn't have a y. He's in the way. He's just going to go to the other side. So equals negative 104. All right. I'm going to factor out a 4 from both of those right here. So we're going to factor out a 4. So x squared plus 2x. We've been through this so many times. That's why we're not doing too many of these. Minus 25y squared. There's nothing to factor out because there's only one term with a y in it. That's equal to negative 104 plus something. And that something will not be a 1, it will be a 4. You know what we're doing with this, right? Okay, cool. Yes, that's negative 100. Don't think you got it wrong just because you got a negative number there. With hyperbolas, it'll actually be okay. Trust me. So 4, and then x plus 1, and then minus 25y squared equals negative 100. Well, I need this to equal 1, not negative 100, so we'll divide by negative 100. Sign and all, divide by negative 100, and we do that. And we have, what? 25 over 100 is 4, and it is now positive. Okay? 4 over 100 is 25. There's your x plus 1 there. That reduced out. It became negative 25. So it is negative right there. This is correct. I like it. You like it. We could graph it. But be careful. I'm not going to graph it. But if you graphed it, it actually opens up and down, not left and right. And don't say, well, the x is first. Yeah, whatever. The x is negative. I've been cautious the way I worded that throughout this lesson. Most of the time, the positive one is first. Sometimes it's not. It's the positive one you're looking for, not necessarily the one that's first. This is a little bit more correct. So there it is right there. Now, that's all I had to do. I don't have to state the center and the radius, or not radius, doesn't have radius. Center and the vertices and the foci. Let me just say a couple things though. Centers at negative 1, 0. We'd go from that point up 5 and down, I'm sorry, left and right 5. Sorry, left and right 5, up and down 4. It would open up and down. Yeah, you got this. Okay, last one. Then we'll call it a lesson. Almost done. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing. I'm going to just go ahead and jump straight into it with the very next rewrite. 20 is going to need to get factored out of both of these terms. We've done this and done this and done this, so this is going to go really fast. Plus blank, okay? Negative 4 is going to get factored out. This is where people mess up. They mess up, they mess up, they mess up. Don't do it. Don't be one of those people that mess up. We're going to factor out a negative 4. Negative 24 divided by negative 4 is positive 6. Be careful, be careful, be careful. It'll mess you up every time. Please be careful. You're dividing out a negative. I know I keep saying the same thing over and over. If you're not careful, you're going to miss it. There we go. That 36 was in the way, and that should be positive. There I go. Second mistake in this video that you've noticed. I guess if you count the sneeze, that would be 3 mistakes. And the fact that my sneeze didn't come in pairs, that'd be 4 mistakes. Let's move on. Anyway, there's a 4 right here. There's a 9 right there. So there's a 80 here. There's a negative 36 here. Be careful. It is negative 4 times 9. Hey, you know why that's positive? Let me say it one more time. You divided a negative 4 from negative 24. Just wanted to throw that out there one more time. Those cancel. You have an 80 right here. Right here you factor x plus 3. You've been factoring for days. You know what you're doing. 2x 20. Okay. This needs to equal 1. We are almost finished. We'll divide by 80, divide that by 80, divide that by 80. That divides out and becomes a 1. We're going to have a negative with a x plus 3 over 4 goes into 80 20 times. Is squared. 20 goes into 80 4 times. Looks like I messed up slightly. I will fix it. I hope you see what I did. That makes mistake number 3. 4 if you count the sneeze, and 5 if you count the fact that I didn't sneeze twice. Okay, here was my mistake. Right here when I was harping about getting this part right, I wrote an X instead of a Y, so let's fix that. That makes this a Y, that makes this a Y. Sorry about that. I apologize. Okay, we don't have to graph it, and we're not going to graph it, but if we did, it would open left and right. From the center, which is at negative 2, negative 3, we would move up and down 2, left and right 2. There's another mistake. I done lost count. Left and right 2, up and down the square root of 20, which is 4 point something. And yeah, that would be it. I better turn this thing off before I keep making mistakes.